Hi, this is Dan. We're going to do a large bonsai pot. See how this works out. I'm going to mount this die into the extruder, smooth side up. Okay, I've got the die mounted into the bottom of the extruder, smooth side up. I've checked inside to make sure that it's clear and centered in the extruder, and it's ready for some clay. All right, if you guide the very first part of the extrusion, it'll help keep it straight. Stop there and cut it off. Use that cut wire, take off the wall, get it up as high as I can here. Cut that off, get that to the table. My clay is pretty wet here. Super wet. Need to do that without messing it up. The foot with a cheese cutter, lay it out, straighten it out a little bit, lay it out and let it dry, and go back for another extrusion. Okay, I've got my pieces extruded. I'm going to build a 10 by 12 large bonsai pot in a rectangle, and I want to let them get just a little bit drier. I need to stand these up and cut them at 45-degree angles so that I can build this square. I'm going to go ahead and cut these 4 pieces that I need. I was mistaken, it's actually 9 by 12 that we're making. So I'm going to mark out 12 inches at the bottom. I'm going to try to cut these at about a 45-degree angle so that they'll go together in nice square corners. Just using a cheese cutter to make the cuts. And to make sure, this is my outside facing up right now. So I want to make sure that I have opposing cuts, angles on these ends.
Hi, Dar here, taking over for Dan. He's our cameraman, so I'm going to build this pot. Bearing in mind our first build with the large bonsai pot, I've got 2 9-inch pieces and 2 12-inch pieces that he has cut that I am going to put together. I will score and slip the sides and put them together. Okay, I'm going to get my slab, which I have done off camera. It's over here on our slab roller. That's the 9 by 12 shape, and I'm going to build the walls onto this slab. I'm going to score and slip these to the outside of the slab. They should fit together nicely there from the way that Dan has cut them. So I will do that scoring and slipping. Okay, I'm going to put it on a Lazy Susan at this point. We're just putting it in a temporary situation together, and then I'll go in and seam all these seams tighter. moving to the outside of the pot and the seams on top. These are a little more important because they will be visible. We're just going to smooth it with a wet sponge, really. Make sure that these seams are sticking together. Pinching the corners without misshaping the entire pot. We're pinching it and smoothing it. Just going to run the sponge over the whole side so it has the same color once it's glazed. Another way to reinforce the inside seam is to add a coil. We're not going to do that here, but we do recommend it. Just extrude yourself a coil, put it on the inside, score and slip it, smash it in, and it will make it a lot stronger. Okay, we need to flip this so we can put smooth out the bottom seam. So we put some foam in there to hold the bottom in place. And now Dan is going to flip it for me because it's heavy. And now we can work on the bottom. We don't want to put the feet on quite yet because it's still too green or wet, so we want to let it dry some more, but I'm going to work on the bottom. So down here you can see the seam, you can see the bottom seam. I'm just going to smooth and pinch those pieces, and I will use a sponge. There's some pretty big gaps there, so you want to make sure that those are closed. There's a pretty big seam in some places. I'm just going to pull clay over. This is going to be up on feet for a finished version. So I'm pulling a little clay over to close these seams, and then I'll clean it up with the sponge. I'm going to go ahead and put the holes, the bonsai holes, which are bigger than normal pots. My tool maker made this for me. It's just a beer top and a piece of wood that I can shove all the way through. And we're just guessing where they go. One more. Smooth around that a little bit. Putting in a couple of small holes for bonsai building. Okay, we put six little holes, 3 big holes. Don't forget to sign your work. I'm going to use a signing tool. Put my initials and the date. We're not going to do the feet yet. We're going to let it dry like this since we have a nice foam body inside. If you don't have something holding the bottom in place, you'll need to let it get a little leather hard, turned right side up before the feet. We eyeballed some 45-degree angles, did some cuts. We're going to score and slip them, put them together, and we're putting 4 feet on. You can let your imagination go crazy, make the feet however you like to make them, and however you want them to look. But this particular look, just scored and slipped, pushing together, making sure they stick. And then we're going to attach it to the bottom of the pot. We're going to go ahead and attach now. Ours is getting harder as we speak, but if you are still unable to turn yours, do not do your feet. Wait until it's good and leather hard and the bottom doesn't distort. Ours has a foam piece holding it together. So we're going to get that and bring that over here. We're putting the feet on with a score and a slip. Just putting it on the edge, just an eyeball. This isn't rocket science. You can measure it if you like. I prefer not to. I like to do the score and slip on this side, put it on, and then score the other side as well. I think that makes it a little bit stronger. Now we can apply pressure because of our filler inside here. Don't apply pressure if you're moving your pot. This is an option for a different shaped pot, just depending on how you make your cuts. Instead of at a 45, this was cut at 22.5. So you can make it into octagon shapes, any kind of shapes that you want. Here's how this one came together like that. This is just a sample. We didn't piece everything together properly, but you can make it look like that too. Bonsai forest pot is done. We're going to let this dry, and of course it will be glazed. This is Dar with Old Ash Artisans. Be sure and like us on Facebook and on Instagram. Thanks for watching.